All right, today we're going to tackle one of the most profound and I mean truly game-changing concepts in all of Buddhist philosophy. It's called Paṭicca Samuppāda, or Dependent Origination. And honestly, it's like the hidden operating system running behind our entire experience of reality.
So to get started, let's go right to the source. We're talking about the Buddha's closest disciple, Ananda. So he hears this teaching for the first time, and he has this big aha moment. He runs up to the Buddha and says, this is incredible. It's so deep, but it seems so simple to me. And you can kind of relate to that, right? At first glance, it seems to just click.
But here's the twist. The Buddha didn't pat him on the back. Not at all. He stopped him right in his tracks. And what he says next? Well, it completely changes the game. It shows us just how deep this rabbit hole goes and sets up the central puzzle we're going to try and solve today.
All right, Section 1, a deep and hidden truth. So what's with the warning? Why the big caution? Well, because for the Buddha, this wasn't just some abstract philosophical idea. This was it. This was the key to unlocking everything. And he knew just how difficult it was for most people to even get a glimpse of it.
So the Buddha's reply is blunt. He says, do not say that, Ananda. He makes it crystal clear, this teaching is deep, and it looks deep. And then he gives this amazing image. He says it's because people don't get this one thing, that humanity has become like a tangled ball of yarn. Just a confused, knotted mess, totally trapped, and with no idea how to get free from suffering.
So, what are we actually talking about here? Paṭicca Samuppāda. At its heart, it's really the law of conditionality. It's the idea that nothing, and I mean nothing, not a thought, not the phone in your hand, not a feeling, exists all by itself. Everything comes into being because of other things. It's all connected. When the right conditions are present, something arises. When those conditions disappear, it disappears. It sounds simple, but think about it. That idea is absolutely radical.
And get this, the story goes that after his enlightenment, the Buddha seriously considered not teaching at all. And why? Because of this very principle. He looked at the world and thought, man, everyone is just so caught up in attachment, so busy chasing after things, there's no way they're going to see this. He honestly felt it would just be a waste of breath, that trying to explain it would be completely exhausting and vexing for him.
Okay, so, yeah, it's deep, it's profound, we get it. But you know what? Like a lot of really complex systems, the rule at its core is actually stunningly simple. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the engine that makes this whole thing run.
And I want to be clear here. We're not about to dive into memorizing some long, complicated list. Not yet, anyway. Right now, it's all about getting a feel for one single, elegant formula. A principle that applies to literally everything, from a galaxy forming to a cup of coffee brewing to a random thought just popping into your head.
And this is it. This is the mantra. When this is, that is. With the arising of this, that arises. Simple cause and effect. But then, look at the second part. When this is not, that is not. With the cessation of this, that ceases. Do you see how huge that is? The first part just describes reality, but the second part, that's the escape hatch. That's the key to freedom. It tells you that if you can remove the cause, the effect goes away too. This isn't just a philosophical idea. It's a user's manual for your own mind.
Okay, the chain of suffering. Let's put this rule into practice. The Buddha applied this powerful lens to the one thing that affects all of us, that feeling of suffering or dissatisfaction, what's called dukkha. He basically became a detective and traced it back, link by link, to find out exactly where it all comes from.
So the whole chain reaction kicks off with a single spark: ignorance, a basic misunderstanding of how things really are. From that ignorance, our mental formations, our habits, and impulses take shape. That then conditions our consciousness, which gives rise to our mind and body, what's called name and form. Then, through our six senses, we make contact with the world around us. Now, up to this point, it's all just mechanics. It's the neutral process of how an experience gets built, like setting up a line of dominoes.
But right here, this is where everything changes. That contact with the world creates a feeling. It can be pleasant, unpleasant, or just neutral. And because of that initial ignorance we talked about, we react. That simple feeling triggers craving. We want more of the good stuff, less of the bad. That craving then hardens into clinging. And that clinging creates a sense of I. I am the one having this experience. That's what's called becoming and birth, the psychological birth of a self. And from there, you get the whole shebang, aging, death, and the whole massive suffering. It all hinges on that one tiny, automatic reaction to a feeling.
Now, a really crucial point here is that none of these 12 links are solid things. They're all processes, constantly in motion. There's this great story about a monk named Sati who got this totally wrong. He started teaching that consciousness was this solid thing, like a soul that just jumped from one life to the next. And the Buddha had to correct him, and he corrected him sharply. He said, no way. Consciousness is dependently arisen. He used this brilliant analogy. It's like fire. Fire isn't a thing that exists on its own. It only arises when you have the right conditions. Fuel, oxygen, heat. Take away the conditions, the fire is gone. Consciousness is just like that.
All right, breaking the chain. This is where it all gets really exciting. Because if this whole teaching were just a diagnosis of the problem, it'd be pretty depressing, right? But it's not. It's also the cure. If you know exactly how the chain is forged, you also know exactly where to break it.
Just look at this. It's so elegant. On the left side, you've got the problem. Contact leads to feeling. Feeling leads to craving. Craving leads to clinging. The whole domino effect. But on the right side, you've got the solution. It's the whole thing in reverse. So what's the weak link? It's right there, between feeling and craving. What if you could just experience a feeling and not automatically react with craving? What if you could just let it be? Well, then the chain snaps. No craving means no clinging. No clinging means the whole structure of suffering just falls apart.
Okay, final section. Seeing the world as process. Because once this idea really starts to sink in, it's not just about your own internal suffering anymore. It completely rewires how you see everything. Seriously. You stop seeing a world full of static, separate things, nouns, and you start seeing a universe of interconnected, dynamic events, verbs.
And this insight reveals the true nature of, well, everything. Anything that is dependently arisen has these qualities. It's anicca, it's impermanent, it's saṅkhatta, which means it's conditioned, it's put together, it's fabricated. And because of that, everything is subject to destruction, to vanishing, to eventually ceasing. And we're not just talking about abstract philosophy here. This applies to a star, a mountain, your own body, and, this is the most important part, every single one of your thoughts and feelings. None of it is solid, nothing is permanent.
This is why the Buddha said something so incredibly powerful. He said that to see dependent origination is to see the Dhamma, the way things truly are, the fundamental law of reality. They're inseparable. So getting this isn't just about learning some obscure Buddhist concept. It's about seeing the actual source code of the universe. The two are literally one and the same.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. If everything we experience, every thought, every emotion, every sensation, is just part of this interconnected, impermanent process, if it's all just conditions leading to more conditions, then where are you in all of that? Where is that solid, unchanging me that we feel we are? What does this all mean for the self that we spend our entire lives trying to protect and promote? Something to really think about.